Hi, my name's Andrea, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is SomaticWise, and I'm starting this channel to talk about a number of different topics that are dear to my heart, especially somatic psychotherapy and ecotherapy. And the reason I'm motivated to start this channel is because I believe that these topics aren't generally known. They're not really commonly discussed, and I think that they're things that we all sort of know inside in a wordless kind of way, and somatic psychotherapy and ecotherapy have been immensely important in my own life and the lives of many of my colleagues and clients, and they give us the tools to begin to talk about these things that affect all of us and to begin to catalyze tremendous healing. I've seen that in my own life and those of many people that I know. So welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about what is somatic psychotherapy, and that leads us to a discussion of what is regular therapy, what is it, why do we do it, and how does it work. So here we go. But wait a minute, actually before here we go, I need to stop and say a few really important things. One is that I'm not your therapist unless you're already an active part of my practice, and we both agreed on that. This is an educational video. It's a beginning point. It's just to begin to become aware of and splash around in some of these concepts. Think about them, do a little more research, feel into them, and see if you feel like any of this could be helpful to you. This is not a substitute for your own treatment. And if you're having any sort of severe symptoms or disruptions in your own life, I really recommend that you do seek follow-up with a qualified therapist. Okay then, so what is somatic psychotherapy? I think that in order to do that topic any justice, we should talk about what is therapy, why do we do it, and what are some of the more traditional types of therapy, and then we can add in the somatic component and talk about the different approaches that there are to somatic psychotherapy. Okay, so again, here we go. What is therapy and why do we do it? Why do we pay somebody who's not our family member or have our insurance company pay them and sit in a room and talk about their problems? Well, the reason that we do it is because it helps. Research indicates that the standard of care for mood disorders such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, what have you, is psychotherapy. Many of those disorders also require concurrent medication. Some forms of the disorders don't always require medication, but psychotherapy is always in there, and it's proven by research to help in a lot of cases. Okay, so then this is my simplest explanation of why we do therapy and how it works. If you think about a baby, they're born with a lot of stuff on board already. They have a nervous system, but it's not fully activated yet. It's like they have the hardware, but they install the software through interactions with their caregiver and the world around them. It's like the nerves are in there, but they don't know how to relate to each other. They don't know how to form connections, which we call synapses. They don't know how to connect up and create the programs and the output in the baby yet. That's their software, and that software is turned on by interactions with their caregivers and the world around them. So it's like this constant back and forth between the baby's systems and the social interactions that they're having. So that's actually really cool. We're a machine, but we're a machine that's turned on by socializing. And I mean turned on like activated, like brought to life, like learning and growing and developing. And the actual nervous system is pruned, that is, different things are cut back and other things are made to grow by the quality of those interactions around us. So it's like the social world is our channel for development. It's intangible. You can't put your finger on it. Like if you're making a robot, you could put your finger on the software coding and the wiring and the batteries and everything like that. And we're robots, but we're not robots. You know, we've got that ghost in the machine. And some of that you can actually observe and categorize through interactions with the caregiver. So obviously then the therapist becomes kind of a substitute caregiver or a trusted person, and it has to be trusted, right? Because if you don't let your interpersonal shielding down and kind of take in some of what the therapist is offering you, you can't do this rewiring of your nervous system that, in my experience, has been so effective at calming symptoms throughout the body. That is how therapy works. It works in that it gets into the nervous system and the nervous system's connection with the physical body and the emotional system through these social channels. And one of the main things the therapist does is understand and actively support the healthy development of these social channels, which many of them might not have been programmed with the right software in the first place. So basically you need another human being in the room with you. There is a saying in therapy that interpersonal wounding has to be healed interpersonally. It has been popular to go into the bookstore and look at the self-help section and buy a book about something, whether it's relationships or anxiety or whatever topic they're dealing with, eating disorders, and go and read the book and then try and work on it yourself at home. And I'm not saying that that doesn't have any merit, it certainly does. And you need another human in the room to really get your hands in there into the wiring, if you will, of your nervous system. Okay, so for a baby, getting warm and supportive and consistent interactions with a caregiver is so important. Not only on the level of they have to convince this person to do a lot of work to help them survive and grow out of the baby period where they can actually control their limbs and get up and get their own food and defend themselves and stuff like that. But it's also really important for wiring in the software, the balance and the responses in their nervous system that they're going to need to be a functional adult that feels good in their own skin. So if they're not getting that interpersonal safety and the support and the esteem and all that from their caregiver, there's always going to be some element of fight or flight response in the baby's nervous system. It's always going to be buzzing under there. You might have heard about fight or flight. It's basically the fight or flight response is a body-wide, very intense, involuntary response of the nervous system and the whole body, because somewhere in the back of our brains, in the midbrain and the reptile brain, we think we're going to die if we don't do something or get seriously injured, or maybe somebody in our family or our tribe is going to die, and the entire body mobilizes to do something with that. And through the lens of somatic therapist, there's always some of that bubbling somewhere under the surface if somebody hasn't had a good start to life. It might be numbed over, it might be covered by dissociation, by addiction, by just general repression, by staying busy. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's hard not to, because I really love talking about this stuff. But that is why therapy works. That is the relationship between the baby, their early environment, and how their nervous system wires up, and the behavior patterns that form, and we see them all the time popping back up in adult life. So that's why we do therapy. So next we're going to talk about the different kinds of psychotherapy that are commonly available out there, just really briefly. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support my work of getting this information out into the world, you could subscribe to receive notification of future videos. You could contribute to my Patreon account to support this channel, and of course, please feel free to share this video with others. Take care. Until next time, be well.